Uh-oh. The last cookie.
You can get a new box of cookies in as fast as an hour with Walmart Express Delivery.
Are you my guilty self-conscience?
No, I'm the voice offering you promo code EXPRESS for free delivery on your first order.
Hey, who ate my cookies?
You mean, these cookies?
Order now. Welcome to your Walmart. Promotion valid for first express delivery order. $50 minimum subject to availability. Restrictions apply.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, all of my beautiful friends from all across the vast reaches of the internet. I hope each and every single one of you is doing absolutely spectacular on this fine Tuesday morning, whenever you happen to be listening to this podcast episode, whether that be morning, evening, or into the deep, dark depths of the night. Welcome to the Reddit Asks Us podcast, the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/Askreddit. I am your host, Luke Dick. Now remember, if you're listening to this podcast episode on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcast, please leave us a rating and also leave us a review. It helps with the show so immensely much. If you go ahead and do that, I would very much appreciate that. Remember, you can respond to this week's question by going to the description of the episode in Spotify. Scrolling down, you should see an option to comment, and I'll read those answers and responses out loud in the next week's following episode. Even if you don't have anything to say particularly about the question itself, even if you just want to comment something, go ahead and do that. I'll still read it out because I love you all. Please go ahead and join our subreddit, r/Reddit Asks Us on Reddit, where there's a new mega thread posted every single week, and we can talk all things Reddit Asks Us related. This is an ad-supported show, so we'll take an ad break right after we read out the response from last week's episode and do the new Would You Rather, because we do a poll every single week and read out that. So without further ado, why don't we go ahead and read out the results of last week's poll. So let's check it out here. Would you rather be a rock star or movie star? We had a 50-50 split on this one. Rock star, movie star. It's kind of tough. I feel like this one is all about personal preference, right? And the would you rather for this week is also about personal preference. I mean, I guess before we read the comments, I can say what the would you rather is. So if you want to vote in the would you rather this week, this one's going to be very tailored to what your particular experience is. So this week's would you rather is, would you rather live in your favorite cartoon forever or live in your favorite video game forever? So depends on what that is, because if your favorite video games was The Sims growing up, then, you might have your answer there for you. But, my favorite video game growing up, and probably still to this day, is Grand Theft Auto. So I don't know if I would want to live in the Grand Theft Auto universe, seeing that it is inherently and entirely about killing people, and doing illegal things and dying. So I don't know if that would be a life worth living for me. But, my favorite cartoon when I was a kid was SpongeBob, so living in SpongeBob forever kind of sounds pretty awesome. Except for the fact that whenever anything, weird happens, they're going to do a very intensely disgusting drawing of my face, which is going to be unfortunate to see, but you know what? I guess that's all of our glory that we need to witness. So, why don't we read out the responses from last week's episode? Last week's episode was, what was the most terrifying we need to leave experience that we've ever had? First one comes from Ghost. What's up going on, Ghost? What's up, Luke? I just want to say thank you, bro. That helped a lot with your honesty, right? Honesty. Thank you. And I actually have an answer for this one. Sorry. If anyone, that's context from last week's episode, Ghost's dog died, so that is very unfortunate. So sorry about that, Ghost. I actually have an answer for this one. And me and my homeboys were out walking in my little town, and we went to the bad part of town, and in 5 minutes down the road, we hear an explosion and gunshots. Turns out a car got bombed, and there was a gang war in the next street over. As soon as we heard the explosion, we started running. It was terrifying. And thank you for your wisdom. It truly did help. A great episode, man. Well, thank you so much, and thanks for your comment. That's insane. That is wild. I don't think I've ever actually been around an explosion that I didn't cause. And not in the sense that I've been going around causing explosions, but, my dad's a chemical engineer, so he likes pyrotechnics and stuff. So, when I was a kid, we blew stuff up, couple Molotov cocktails never hurt anybody. Actually, they did hurt a lot of people and killed probably a lot of people. But when used for fun, they didn't probably. But that is so wild. Just go I know Ghost likes to smoke weed, so it would have been hilarious. I couldn't imagine something killing your high worse than a gunfight explosion. That's that couldn't screw with the vibe more. It's you and the homies. You're walking around having a good time. Maybe go and grab a slice of pizza. Oh my God, there's a giant fire right in front of us, and we are in active danger right now. I can feel the bullets whizzing by my head. That's not those two things, being high on marijuana and getting caught up in a gang gunfight are, those don't really, those vibes aren't really conducive to each other, if you know what I'm saying. There's a lot of contrast there. A little bit too much, a little bit too much perpendicular vibes going on here. Thanks for your comment, Ghost. Next one comes from Phil Savannah. What's going on, Phil? When I was in high school, me and my buddies were invited to a house party, but when we arrived, the house was weirdly quiet. The door was unlocked, but inside was completely empty except for a single chair facing the door. We turned and left immediately. Turns out we went to the address on the west side of town instead of the east side. Still no idea what was up with that house. And for the Would You Rather, Phil says, I choose Rockstar because you can always make money performing, but people may not ask you to act. That's very true. It's actually fairly, it's quite a convincing point you've got there, Phil. Unless you're a rock star that happens to, who's, I don't know. I'm trying to think of some rock stars nowadays who the phone's not ringing. Phone's not ringing because, maybe they get a little bit too... The only thing I can see that's detrimental to your rock career is how active you are on Twitter. If you're active on Twitter, and you're spouting off your opinions about things, that's fine. That's fine. I didn't need my opinions from, the former bassist, from psychedelic cat. I'm just making up a band name, but didn't need that. Didn't need that one. Psycho Kitty. Have you guys seen the? It's like, yeah, the vaccine is. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We don't. I. One thing I do know is that I shouldn't trust the bassist from Psycho Kitty, for my medical advice, but I appreciate your concern. That is super weird though, and very scary. But it's funny to think that you guys there was clearly no party happening, no music, no nothing, and the house is just like this weird, decrepit, strange house, and it's like these guys know how to party. These guys know how to party. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. The fact that you can keep a lid on this thing, and it's apparently, I saw the guest list. It's pretty sizable. It's impressive. Keeping a lid on it, so we don't get in trouble. But this is gonna be a lit ass party. I mean, single chair, maybe an overhead light swinging back and forth, maybe a little bit of mist in the room, and then you kind of as soon as you enter, you start feeling weak and things start to seem hazy, and then you pass out, and next thing you know, you're waking up in the basement, chained to the wall. There's some sort of catacomb that you're in. There's skulls and bones everywhere. Dude, freaking lit party, bro. That party was so friggin' sick, bro. I literally woke up and my legs were amputated, bro. That's crazy, bro. Oh, man. What an insane party, bro. I woke up and my tongue was cut out of my mouth, dude. Shit was wild, bro. That was a crazy party. That was a crazy party, man. Crazy party. Last one on Spotify here comes from Ren. What's going on, Ren? One time my friend came over and we decided to go to the dollar store to browse or something. We drove up by another store near it, and when we noticed lots of police cars and news reporters, okay? After looking more, we saw that there was a police tape covering the entrance to one of the stores right next to the Dollar Tree. We ended up... Wait, Dollar Tree? Dollar Tree? Are you Canadian? Pretty sure Dollar Tree is a Canadian... I'm pretty sure Dollar Tree is a yeah, Dollar Tree is... You must be Canadian like me. You even say anything? Dollar Tree is like a full-on... I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's like a Canadian business. Let's go, fellow Canadian. Hopefully, maybe. I'm not sure. We ended up driving back to my house, and after we got back, we turned on the news, and it turns out there had been an armed car thief hiding in the ceilings of the blocked-off store. I hate to break it to you, bro, but that's not a great place to hide, man. Like, it's in the ceilings. Like, those buildings are, it's not like there's a ton of ways out. Like, they're, those outdoor mall areas are pretty, it's not like you're downtown moving in and out of different places. Like, no, you're literally next to the Walmart. There's 4 stores here. It's not going to take us very long to find you, bro. Like, there's this block of stores they're only connected on the outside. On the inside, there's no crossover here. We know you're hiding in the bulk barn. We can literally see the depressions in the ceiling. This is not... You didn't choose a great place to... You didn't want to go to the sewage tunnels, the underground, or, super populated areas, where you can easily miss somebody, take a subway somewhere, hop on a bus. You just decided to hide in the Walmart. I don't know, man. I don't think it's a great hiding spot. Just being honest. I'm pretty sure there's a reason why they caught you. And then our last comment comes from Reddit on our subreddit. Terrifying we need to leave experience comes from Jumpy Celebration 996. My mom accidentally locked me out of the camper when she thought there was a bear. Totally an accident. Totally, definitely an accident. Oh my God, honey. Oh, the lock. Mom, the lock is literally up or down. This is a camper trailer. It's not like this isn't freaking 007. All right. This isn't Ocean's 11 here. We're not cracking open the governor's safe. It's an up or down lock, Mom. You just couldn't move it up to just let me in. These things, okay? It's technology and it's all advancing, and I just am comfortable with what I'm comfortable with. It's like, Mom, there is literally a more complicated lock on our front door to our actual house. Okay, this, like the thing that we come in and out of every day, and this lock is easier than that. It literally is just a finger up. It's like, it was just, sometimes this is the way the cookie crumbles, son. This is just sometimes the way that it goes. I didn't want you to get eaten by a bear. God forbid you get eaten by a bear, but if that's what the Lord has planned, if that's what Jesus Christ up in heaven has planned for you, then son, you would have had to accept your fate. It's like, okay, well, can you at least admit you had a role to play here in my undoing, okay? It's like in those zombie movies when people have to leave someone behind. It's like, you guys literally could have just gone and got him. Like, it was not that far behind. He barely fell and you guys just kept going. Now he just, he just needed a hand up. Now he's cooked. We didn't need to completely leave him. It's like, oh no, there's no time. It's like they're like 5 minutes away, dude. I think I just sprained my ankle. Like, I just need a hand. All right, folks. We're gonna take a quick ad break, and then we're gonna hop in back with today's episode.
Are your ulcerative colitis symptoms proving difficult to manage? Tremfya guselkumab can help you manage the cycle of UC symptoms. At 1 year, many patients taking Tremfya achieved clinical remission, and some patients also achieved endoscopic remission. Individual results may vary. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor if Tremfya can help you manage the cycle of UC symptoms. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Welcome back to this week's episode. Super excited to be here with y'all. So this is a bit of a different one. I know that not everyone's going to be able to answer this because, and I really can't answer this because obviously you can tell from the episode title, the episode is, everyone always talks about how good the 90s were. What were the bad things about the 90s? I was not born in the 90s. I never grew up in the 90s. I grew up in the early 2000s. I was born in the early 2000s. So, like many listeners of the show, we're Gen Zers. We're not millennials. However, notoriously, for some random reason, Reddit seems to attract quite the millennial crowd. So we're gonna get a deep little dive here into the life of a millennial. Okay, we're gonna deconstruct some of the millennial tendencies we've got going on here. Okay, so I know it's not going to be the question easiest to answer, but there's some fun stuff in here. So first one comes from a specific Zod. It may sound strange, but not having cell phones meant if you planned to meet someone somewhere and they were late, you had no idea if they were just around the corner or going to be an hour late or in the wrong place. And you just had to stand there staring into space because you didn't have Reddit to scroll through while you waited. Oh, that sounds like my fucking nightmare, dude. Oh my God. When I'm in an awkward place, like where I'm waiting for someone or something, I have just the most primal instinct to throw in my AirPods and go on my phone. Because it's like, this is like, so whenever I go on dates with girls that I meet, I like to be very early because I'm a very paranoid about being late. I really don't like being late. So I get to the dates quite early. But, and it's oh my God, I can't imagine what the hostesses might think, or waiters or waitresses, but I will go to the front thing and be like, table for two, and like a half an hour, 45 minutes before my date, because I just don't want to be late. And then I get to sit there and drink a beer, do whatever, go on my phone. But I must seem like the most weirdest, desperate person there, because it's just like, okay, sir, it's been a half an hour. Your date hasn't showed up. Like, do you want another drink? Are you okay, sir? It's like, it's fine. I'm just a very paranoid individual. That's all. It's like, yeah, she's like, oh, it's been quite a while. Do you think I should tell him? Should he give up? Like, this is just, there's no hope, sir. I'm sorry to tell you. I just kind of saw you sitting here for the past half an hour, 45 minutes after you asked for a table for two, and I just wanted to let you know that there's no hope for you. No, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. It's not in the cards for you. It's not happening. It's not, it really is. I know you might thought you were going to be optimistic, but it's really not. You had no chance, okay? When you showed up here, you already failed. It's like, holy crap. Okay. All right, I guess this is the way we're going. But then it makes me so much more paranoid, because then I'm like, I'm there so early. But the longer that I wait, it makes me feel like I'm going to get stood up. Because then how much would that suck is getting stood up after you've already been waiting for like a half an hour, 45 minutes. Now I'm just like, I've kind of locked in for this awkward amount of time where I'm like, okay, I've had one drink. Am I just going to be like, yeah, it was just a prank. That was just a joke. That was just, yeah. I just wanted to say that I was like table for two because I just like wanted like bigger table maybe or something. Like, yeah, I just wanted to come in here and sit on my phone for a while, just feel a different vibe. I just wanted to watch reels somewhere else. I'm just so used to watching reels in my bedroom alone. I just thought, hey, why don't I just go to the bar and tell them I'm meeting somebody when I'm actually just looking for a place to watch reels? That's kind of, yeah. But dude, straight up, I honestly don't think that I could survive the 90s in being in a place waiting for someone without my phone. Like, I don't even know what did people do? Did you just, like, whistle? Like, did you just find a can to start kicking? Like, I don't understand. What did you twiddle your thumbs? Literally just sitting there twiddling your thumbs? Like, that's not even an expression anyone can even use anymore. Who twiddles their thumbs anymore? No one's bored. Everyone's just like, you got a cell phone. You have access to basically the entire world at your fingertips. I've had an iPod or some form of like device, like even a DS, dude, since I was like 8 years old. Like, I have been locked in to the Matrix. Like, I'm in the Matrix's Matrix right now. This is how deep this has gone. So, yeah, like there's so much stuff you can just find to do. And I could not imagine. It would just make me so unbelievably anxious. I would have to travel everywhere with like a book or a magazine or something. Like, I would need something to do, or Game Boy maybe, because the 90s, you had Game Boys in the 90s, right? I would have been riddled with anxiety. Reply from Jack Clyde. From a different perspective, not having cell phones meant that to socialize, people tended to congregate in only a few known locations, the club, cool friend's house, etc. This made it far more easy to meet new people face to face and far less likely to form bias echo chambers. Social media is right. That's a fair point. I mean, you know, if there's only so many places to go, whereas like if I even think about my own friends, I had so many different friend groups and different people that I hung out with in high school because I was locked into social media. Like, I had so many different groups based on the hangout and the vibe. You know, it's like that meme where it's like, you know, when you make a group 1 joke in front of group 2 friends and it just doesn't hit. That happened to me more times than I would have liked to admit, to be honest, because it was I had a couple different groups, and it was very evident when those groups were, you know, you think, oh my god, I love this friend. They should meet my other friend. No, they shouldn't. No, they probably shouldn't meet ever. They should never know that we're friends, honestly, because if you don't think that was funny, you will probably report my friend for war crimes. You will probably try to call the SWAT team on my buddies. But, you know, that is true, right? Like, there's less places for people to hang out. But then I also think that works in a negative way, too, because then people who don't have a ton of friends, you know, and don't have that social reach. I knew a lot of people in high school that like got to be close with people because they got to be online a lot and meet their communities and hang out with the people that they enjoy online, which they would have never been able to do in the 90s. So, you know, it works both ways. Next one comes from Dangerous Fix 1813. One of my best friends from grade school moved away. He wrote his phone number down on a piece of paper so we could keep in touch. I lost it. Never spoke to him again because I had no way to contact him. Excuse me. That's probably nasty. I think about this all the time. Like, how I can just go and meet someone. I've done this so many times. Like, the reason I have my roommate right now, Sam, that you guys would know because he's been on the show, is because we played basketball together, and I just went up to him afterwards, and I was like, "What's your Snapchat, or what's your number, or what's your Instagram?" And then we just immediately became friends, and, you know, we've been friends for the last like 4 years, and we lived together for the last like 2. Like, I guess it's not, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't imagine just meeting someone you like mess with really hard, and then you're just like, well, I guess I'll hope to see you again, and I may never see you ever again in my entire life. So, I will walk by people that I see on the street or on the university campus, and I'll go to my Instagram Explore page, and I'll literally just get their profile just suggested to me. Like, just right there, just being like, well, you know, I know you didn't ever intend on speaking to this person, and you've probably only seen them twice, but in case you want to follow whatever they do for the rest of their lives, There you go. Right there, served up on a silver platter. Maybe you want to just keep tabs. Just making sure that everyone's lives are going well. Well, here's their Instagram. It's like I've seen this guy like 3 times I've ever been on campus, and now I know that he really enjoys Punta Cana. He loves pineapple tequilas. It's a drink of choice. Very, very interesting. That's my drink of choice. But still, when we're talking highballs, But that would just really suck, man. That would really suck. And then just having to be like, well, I've just completely lost this opportunity. Or if you wrote someone's number, I guess, because it's easier nowadays when I give people my phone and I'm like, oh, put your Instagram in, and people put their own Instagram in. Whereas it's like, and that's like kind of a mediated way. It's not like as personal as giving someone your number. And it's just like, because Instagram is like whatever. It's like, okay, like if you follow me on Instagram, it's like, okay, not a big deal. And it's easy to block people on Instagram. Like, it's like there's a lot of personal info out there, like that people can really harass you with. But like if you wrote someone's number down wrong, like, dude, you're talking to Aunt Betty from down the street. Okay, you might be linked up with Cal's auto repair, and then that's it. And then you just have to let go. You just have to be like, wow, there was so much potential there, and it's never going to be realized. Reply from State of You. That's probably the only reason I didn't like the 90s or earlier. However, I'm a bit conflicted about how smartphones have changed our lives since then. Sometimes it's not nice to be available all the time. I lost contact with a few great people during the 90s too. Just distant memories. Bro. Available all the time? Just don't answer your phone. Apple literally invented a whole do not disturb function on your phone so that you will just not see texts. Like, you're allowed to turn your phone off, dude. Like, I do that fairly often. Like, I don't necessarily turn it off because I want to listen to music and stuff, but I'll just, like, throw on do not disturb. No one's contacting me. Like, it's like, oh, I have to answer all these phone calls. It's like, no, you don't. You don't have to answer them, bro. Like, if someone's calling you, don't want to pick up, it's your time. You just don't answer the phone. You're not obligated to. Like, just because you have an iPhone or you have a cell phone doesn't mean you have to pick up the phone when someone calls you. That's not in your contractual obligation. It's like your phone company is going to come looking for you and be like, so you missed a lot of calls this month. Yeah. What do you have to say for yourself? Really? Missing all those calls? You seriously thought you were just going to get away with this? No, obviously not. That's why we're here at your door, and we're here to execute you. We don't, like, you think this was just going to go unnoticed? Do you honestly think that you were just going to miss all these calls and just not pick up the phone, and we were just going to sit here idly by, just watching as all these missed calls come into our system? Get on your knees. All right, put this blindfold on. All right, fellas, let's make this one quick. All right, let's get out of here, and we got a couple more of these today. So let's not even let him have a speech. No final meal. Just pop him right in the head. And then this is an interesting reply. Someone goes, or Borealis365 goes, until Facebook became a thing and then we all reconnected, which is interesting because I remember being a younger kid and hearing people like older than me, like that millennial, like that 10 years older than me when I was 8, or 6 or whatever, that age range of like 6 to 10 to 12 years older than me. I remember these kids freaking out because they found all these people's profiles, like on Facebook and MySpace. People were, or MSN Messenger or something like that. And people just like looked up their friends or looked up someone's name and then they ended up finding them, which was like, I remember that being like a really big deal. People were all, but I was literally 8 years old. My friends lived down the street. I just knocked on their door.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, You only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Coffee Mate. After watching this season of the HBO's original series, The White Lotus, this is the tropical getaway I needed. One more pina colada, please.
Hey, you're not on mute.
Oh, I thought I was in paradise. Turns out it was my Coffee Mate. Coffee Mate Pina Colada and Thai iced coffee flavored creamers. Inspired by the newest season of HBO's original series, The White Lotus. For the love of coffee. Try now.
Next one comes from Blackadder 1620. Smoking in restaurants. The magical line dividing the sections did nothing. That's kind of like that's kind of reminds me of just like the COVID, like how they have in front of, and it's still even there. Like at convenience stores, there's just like a plexiglass thing separating me from the cashier, but there's this like giant hole in the middle of it for me to give him my money and pay for things. Like there's actually a convenience store literally just down the street, like that is like this. It's like, this isn't separating anything, bro. No one's wearing masks anymore. COVID's not over, but it's like, I mean, I'm telling you right now, dude, like no one's wearing masks anymore. Like if I came in here with you know, a serious infection, I really wouldn't depend too much on this this plexiglass to separate our health outcomes here. Like I don't think this is titanium enforced plexiglass. Like this is just a piece of plastic. It's really not doing much, bro. It's honestly probably doing immensely less than you could ever possibly think it's doing. It might even be making things worse because people might touch it. They literally might be making things completely worse. It's like the same idea with the smoking thing. It's like, okay, but I literally didn't blow it at you. Okay, I literally blew it up into the ceiling. So obviously, the no smoking section, you guys I don't know what you're complaining about because I didn't blow it in your direction. I just blew it. I blew it at the plexiglass. Did you not see the smoke just reverberate off the plexiglass? That kind of, everyone knows that's how it works, okay? Obviously, I don't know. You're complaining about the smell of cigarettes? Did you not see the red piece of dividing tape on the ground? It doesn't go farther than that. It's literally what separates the non-smoking and smoking sections, is that piece of red tape on the ground. So, I don't know, you're kind of complaining a lot, and it's really not making sense, if you know what I'm saying. Dude, I remember, I can't remember how old I was. It was in the early 2000s, but I do remember when the federal law came in about smoking in places, and before that came in, I do remember going to there's this place in Canada called Robin's. It's like a Dunkin' Donuts or something, I guess. And they literally were the last place to allow smoking. Like before it even became federal law, all of these businesses were like, yeah, no one really likes the smell of tobacco and tar in the place. No one really likes the haziness and the, it kind of makes everything just stink in everyone's clothes, and it's kind of just in general unsanitary. The cigarette butts on the floor, and it's dirty, and it's just it's kind of nasty. It's I think this is just something that's for the best. But Robbins was literally like, we're gonna give you a pack of cigarettes when you walk in the door. You're walking in with a small child? Maybe they would like a package of small cigarettes. Maybe we should start them off on those Popeyes candies, maybe. And then they can gradually work their way up to cigarettes. We'll give the adults a carton of cigarettes, and the younger children, they you can start off with maybe one or two and see how you feel. Right? Because it's all about balance here. About Robin's Donuts. It's all about finding the middle way. Right? There's a healthy, structural balance that we got to find. It's somewhere in between. We're not going to give you a pack of cigarettes, but, We're also not going to say no cigarettes, because that's fucking ridiculous, okay? Child, no cigarettes? Was that an oxymoron? Come on. That's like saying we're going to make a road without concrete, or without asphalt, or a building without concrete, a building without a roof. Like, come on, people. We need to be realistic. All right? We don't need our kids smoking a ton of cigarettes, but a little cigarette is fine. Okay? Everyone needs, it's moderation, right? That's what became a thing in the 90s, right? It's this idea of moderation. You know, it's don't over, but also don't under. You know, it's finding a healthy balance. That's all we're trying to encourage these children to do. Is come in, have your first coffee. We'll put a little Irish cream in there so you can start to loosen up a little bit. Maybe the parents can loosen up a little bit. And then also a couple cigarettes. And then, you know, black coffee. And then you see how this starts to evolve. Now you start to becoming a functioning, healthy member of society. It's crazy. I went to Las Vegas 2 years ago now, I think, and hated it. I mean, I didn't hate my time there. I had a fun time, but Las Vegas is a city that I have zero aspiration to revisit. Like, I just don't. It is one of those places where I'm like, wow, this is everything that, like, this is all the worst things about what I thought it was. Like, it's like, oh yeah, Vegas is dirty and kind of gross, and, you know, the people there suck, and it's all full of gambling and, you know, and degeneracy and all this stuff. It's like, you know, but it's cool because it's lively and it's all this, you know, it's interesting, and that there's cool stuff going on. It's like, yeah, all that stuff with all the bad stuff. It's like, yeah, there's cool stuff going on, but it's dirty and everyone's smoking cigarettes and they're also on coke and heroin and doing speedballs and, you know, fucking, I don't even know if people really do that shit anymore, but, you know, people are, and then people are wild, dude. People will just come up to you and say the weirdest shit. Like, I literally had this one dude just super clearly high on coke. There was coke on his nose, this random guy. And I'm like, I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, first of all, how long is it going to be before this guy stops talking to me? And second of all, how long have you been here, sir? Like, I'm starting to think you've been here for longer than you would have ever thought. I'm starting to think that you don't know how long you've been here. Like, this is concerning. But in Vegas, you're still allowed to smoke in the casino areas when you're sitting down at a machine. So, man, all of those hotels, like when you book a place online or something, you're like, oh, this seems like a pretty nice hotel. You walk inside and you're like, holy shit. Oh my God. This fucking reeks, man. It's like, that immediately takes away from the experience. It's like, you know, you can enjoy this beautiful hotel room with gorgeous views from the 14th floor, and it also smells like prostitution and the back of an old van, but an old van who belonged to everyone's weird uncle who quit smoking many times, but just then decided quitting wasn't for him. That's the vibe that some of these places give me. Next one comes from Barnaby Bundle Snatch. Loads of stuff. The 90s weren't some great time where nothing bad ever happened. The point was that things were looking like they could be better in the future. I don't know about that. The 90s were great because of the hope was in the air, not because there was nothing wrong. There was still a ton of crappy things that we still deal with today. But unlike today, the 90s walls were coming down all over the place. Apartheid, the tearing down of the Berlin Wall, the end of the Cold War. There was a massive riot in LA that forced not only the country but the world to look at how black people were being treated by police. Dude, it took to the 90s, bro? This shit is still happening today. It's like, finally, we've realized we should stop treating black people poorly. It's like, God damn it. This has been happening since forever. Come on, dude. Like, this is when is society gonna realize this? That it's like, oh yes, we should probably stop being racist. Really? It was like taken till now. It's so funny because it's like the civil rights movement happened in the 1960s, and this comment just reflects. It's like they just waited until the 90s to be like, oh yes, I guess what he did say was important. I guess he was assassinated for a reason. Maybe we should think about what this Martin Luther King guy had to say. It's like 1991. Like, what the fuck, man? That was like 30 years ago, bro. Oh my god, dude. Oh. Anyways, it's like we need to seriously look at the disparity in treatment with racial racial disparity in terms of treatment with the police. It's like, yeah, we've been saying that for like 100 years, bro. It's like, oh my god. The internet started, gaming consoles were released seemingly constantly, and technology sped up. There was so much hope for the future everywhere you looked. So what happened? 9/11. Okay. The explosion of social media and clickbait. There really isn't one answer, but one thing is for sure is that all the stuff we thought was going to change for the better didn't. In fact, they may have gotten worse. Oh, really? Reply from I don't totally agree with that though. I am a little bit hopeful. I'm not one of those people that's like, sitting around and obviously things are really crappy, and there are a lot of things that need to be improved in the world. But I'm also not one of those people that's going to be like, this is the pinnacle. Like, it's not going to get better from here. Like why would I want to sit here and I'm literally here. I'm literally alive. Why would I want to be saying like, yeah, bro, shit's probably going to end, bro. It's no point. Like, what's even the point? Like, I feel like we should just all find some way to collectively disappear. That sounds culty to me. This sounds like some Jim Jones type drink the Kool-Aid type of thing. Like, I'm fine. I'd rather think that things are going to get better rather than sit around and be like, so things suck pretty fucking bad, eh? And they're probably going to get a lot worse. It's like that's like the vibe killer at the party. I take the vibe killer at the function. It's like you're enjoying yourself and you got your drink, you're dancing, and then someone comes up to you and be like, that alcohol shit's actually probably really bad for you? Yeah. Did you know that dancing is actually really bad on your joints? And it's really not good for you to do long term. So it's probably not something you should really think about doing in the future ever again, probably. It's like, damn, bro, I'm just trying to enjoy myself. Dancing, bro. Yeah, wow, you're like really bad at it. Yeah, I'm surprised. Are you trying right now? Oh, wow, you're trying. Oh, shit, my bad, dude. I thought you were just like having an allergic reaction or something. I thought you were having like, I thought it was like a seizure maybe. That's why I came over here to like help you. It's like, okay, bro, thanks for destroying the vibe. Reply from the Ovi. It's really difficult to put into words how insanely fast computer advancement was for consumers in the 90s. We started the decade at 33 megahertz and ended with 1,000 megahertz, with consumer-grade 3D accelerators being invented in between. From simple pixel art to polygons and massively multiplayer online play. The jump to 3D with the N64 kind of blew my mind. You haven't seen a generational leap until you've seen a 2D Mario become a then inconceivable moldable 3D face in the span of a few years. That's true. I mean, I do feel like today things advance stupidly fast, but it's also things kind of stagnate, also too. Like, I feel like, especially when it comes to like phones and cell phone technology, because we've kind of engineered the shit out of the cell phone. I mean, it's not like you can really do much now. The cell phone is the cell phone. Now we're on the iPhone 24. Like, it's like, what are we doing here? Like, why don't we just, pick one number and then just do iterations of that one number? It's like we could have stopped at X, and then this is the X1, the X2, the X3, the X4. It's like just upgrades, instead of coming out with the new iPhone every single year. It's just sort of like, maybe just taking our iPhones to get traded in for the newest one instead of, just constantly releasing brand new phones every year. It's not like, I don't need a 48 gigashit pixel phone to, take pictures of me and my friends when we're drinking at an Irish pub. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need crystal clear 1 million gigapix pixel resolution to just, take a picture of my buddy who threw up all over the ground. It's not, it's not a necessity at this point. But yeah, it's like, but also things advance in different ways. Like we're seeing the AI stuff now, dude. Like AI, when I was in high school, there was no such thing really as AI, and now it's like, dude, I don't go like a week without using ChatGPT for something. I literally used ChatGPT for like 2-3 major life events I had last week, and it was ridiculously helpful. Like that is just we might be cooked, actually. We actually might be totally cooked. Yeah, it's just funny. Next one comes from Eliza Lemon. Never heard the words anxiety, depression, or coping strategies. Everyone in my family was just drinking their feelings away and denying the feelings that existed. No, that's not necessarily funny, but what I do find funny is how we just used to be like, yeah, Aunt Kathy is really sad. Yeah, Aunt Kathy, she's just a little upset. She just cries sometimes because she's a little upset. It's like, no, she was actually a veteran from the war, and she has major PTSD and extremely deep-rooted fundamental trauma that she's dealing with. It's not, she doesn't just get a little down. She gets a little blue. She feels she gets the blues, but you know what? There's nothing that cures the blues like a big old smile. A big old teeth, ear-to-ear smile. And things will just go away. It's like, I think we might trust psychology on this one. I don't think cognitive behavioral therapy is going to tell us that smiling from ear to ear is going to cure your existential depression. But it's just funny how that kind of stuff evolves, how we just want to shove this ugly part of our society away, and it's like, turns out telling depressed people to smile doesn't make it go away. It doesn't just make the condition disappear, right? Like it's not like, what have you tried taking a walk outside? Have you tried just enjoying nature? It's like, I think we found the cure for depression. It's a brisk walk through the park. Who the frick would have ever freaking thought, dude? I'm the smartest doctor ever, bro. Who else is... Bro, you guys need to get on this. If you're guys taking a brisk walk, it's like... I'm no longer depressed anymore. All right, folks. We're going to wrap it up there for today's episode. This was a lot of me riffing, so sorry about that. But, it is Read and React. But anyways, thank you all so much for tuning into another episode of the Red Ask Us podcast, the podcast that we read and react to comes from r/Askreddit. I am your host, Luke Dick. Now, please remember to leave us a rating, leave us a review, comment for this week's episode, and answer the polls, and join our subreddit. And other than that, I'll see y'all next week. Peace out. Love you. Goodbye.